chats. But this time it's just a little bit different. This week it is only and I'm not joined by anyone this week. All of my clients, all of my past clients as well that I've asked, they're like, no, can't do this week. It's half term. I'm away. So we've got some booked in for after half term. So don't worry. We'll be getting some more conversations going on there. But this week it is just me. So as always, if you're watching live, let us know. If you are watching, let me know in the comments if you're watching live or if you're catching up on replay. It's always good to know. Now, this week, we're just going to do things a little differently, okay? There's a little subject that we're going to be talking about, but then also we're going to open it up to you as well, okay? So, if you have any questions that you want answering, please just let me know in the comments and we can answer it whilst we're here, all right? If you put the comments down whilst we're live, we can answer it live. If it's on the replay, then I'll reply to you individually then. If you do have any questions, please just let us know and we can work through it. So what's been going on? What's been going on this week? Right, we've always got to be looking for the wins. Now, how often do you look for the wins? How often do you do that? Is that something that you do regularly, or is it something that you do just when something big happens? Now, this is massive for progressing. Like, you have to do it. Even when you're just starting out, you have to celebrate the wins. Because if you don't, then things aren't gonna progress, right? So I'm going to share some of mine, and if you're watching this, please share some of your wins in the comments as well. Like, again, it's always great to know what's going on with you as well. So for me, like, my win this week is this is to do with me and Blake this week, okay? And that is that I got back to jiu-jitsu this week. All right, I've had quite a few weeks off. I had a little problem with my knee. It felt like it dislocated. It was a really horrible feeling, but it didn't, thankfully. So we had to work on that. It's got a little bit better, and I managed to get back this week, which was amazing. But also, Blake, watching his growth just over the last 3 or 4 weeks of him at jiu-jitsu as well has been amazing. I did a post the other day of him being really nervous, crying even, on the mats. But then this week, just running on, getting ready, running on, and he was just like a completely different person. Really, really good to see. So let me know what has been good in your world this week, okay? So let's move on. I want to share with you today this phrase, right? Nothing changes if nothing changes. Now, why is this not true? Why is this not right? When it comes to your health and your wellness, why is this not true? Well, people always think, I had a conversation with a guy this week, okay? And we spoke, this time last year, and his weight has stayed the same, which is great, right? Nothing's changed on that front, but things do change. It's all the other things, right? All we're looking at is the weight. The weight hasn't changed. Cool. But you're 365 days older. 365 days more of reinforced bad habits, of beliefs as well that have been reinforced to why you cannot change. Blood pressure, that could rise. Cholesterol, that could rise. Stresses could increase. All of these things that are going on in the background could be going on. Yet your weight hasn't changed. So, is it true then that if nothing changes, nothing changes? It's not true, is it? Because all of these other things can play an impact. Barry. We spoke briefly last year, okay, Barry. And, we just couldn't get involved, right? We couldn't get started then. And he went away, he tried a few things, and, you know, it didn't really work. I'm really proud of him because he sent me a message and he was like, right, Adam, I need to do something. And he did. And he's come on board, and in only, was it just like a week? I think he's in week 2 now. Like, he's already 3.5 kilos lighter. And that is amazing, okay? And this is someone that, like, his job is going to be in and out of hotels. He's going to be traveling abroad, you know, on a regular basis. And it affects him. His weight does affect him. But I'm so proud of him because he realized that he had to do something. Even though his weight hadn't gone up, okay, it had increased from when he was at his lightest a few years ago, but it hadn't gone up over the last year. But he was like, I have to do something because otherwise, this is what was really good about him. And I know why he's going to do really well, because he's looking forwards. He's looking forwards, and he knows that in 5 years' time, he cannot stay the same because he already knows how he feels now. So if he knows how he feels now with his weight, with his health, with just all of this going on, how's it going to be playing out over the next 5 years? Because he can see the trajectory. He can see how it's going. He could see how he was. You know, for a lot of guys, like pre-lockdown is like a big thing. Lockdown really did ruin a lot of people's progress and all that. He could see where he was. He could see where he is now, and he's already got that path. So all it is just keep that moving. If nothing moves forwards, if nothing changes, and you're on that default path, what is that going to look like? Now, you're at a point now where you can make a decision. Do you want to continue on that default path of where your habits are taking you, where your behaviors are taking you? Or would you like to make a change? Now, the changes do not need to be dramatic. Okay, like there's a part from a well-known book. It's called Atomic Habits by James Clear, and in it, I think he says that a plane taking off in LA, I think it was LA. Now, if there's just a 1 degree difference, and the plane was headed towards, if the plane takes off and it's heading towards New York, but there's a 1 degree difference from when it takes off, then the same time that plane will then end up in Washington. It's going the same speed in the same direction, but there's just a 1 degree difference. Over the same time span, it then ends up in a completely different location. And you are the same. You're the same. All you've got to do is make a small change, and then over time, it's going to get a bigger result. So, for you, that 1% change, nothing changes, right? Well, yeah, like 1% change isn't a lot, but it can be if it's done regularly over and over and over again. It's like if you don't do anything now, what's that going to look like in 5 years' time? Are you going to be in a place where you really want to be? And that's the thing that we need to think about, okay? That is what we need to think about. So, also, I just want to share with you as well, a new client of mine as well, Mike. He's now he's a month in now, okay? And when we first spoke, he was nervous. He had that, I'm not sure, and he had been through and he'd seen, known of some people that have been through the Back in Charge Blueprint. He was like, oh, I know him. I used to work with Mark Perry. I used to work with him. But even though he had that proof, he was still nervous. Of course, because, it's an investment to come into the Back in Charge Blueprint. But also it's is it going to work for me? But he took that leap of faith. He put his belief in himself, and he knew that if nothing changes, well, it is going to get worse for him. So a month in, and he's made some amazing changes already, okay? And already, like I spoke to him today, a month in, and he's a stone down. You know, I'm absolutely buzzing for him. Like, I'm so happy for him. But most of all, he's happy for himself because he's making these positive changes. He's going out, he's exercising more, he's walking more. He's, like he said to me today, one of his major wins was that his skin on his legs is feeling better. It's not so dry. Amazing. Things like that. All of these things in the background are all what can contribute as well. Okay. So it's not just about the weight, it's about everything else that comes together. So I just want you to take a moment. If you continue with what you're doing today, which was the same as yesterday, which was the same as the day before, how would you feel this time next year if none of your habits change? Is it going to be in a good place for you, or is it not going to be in a good place for you? That is what you need to think about. Now, are the habits serving me today, or are they not? Does something need to change? Now, I'm not saying that you have to join the Back in Charge Blueprint, but you do need to change. Just like I had a conversation with a guy called Stuart Douglas recently, and we decided that it wasn't right for him. The Back in Charge Blueprint wasn't the right thing for him. So we gave him some pointers. The conversation alone showed him that he had to make some changes. And he messaged me the other day, and I think he said it was like 1.5 stones down, okay? And he didn't even come into it. And I'm so happy for him because he realized that he has to make a change. The same for you. If you know that you need to make a change, then you need to do that change. Don't just wait. Don't just leave it. Because if you just leave it, then it's only going to get harder. And then when you will be forced to make a change, that is going to be even harder because it's going to be an even more of an uphill battle for you. It's going to be an even bigger challenge for you. Whereas when you can make a change when you're younger and fitter and healthier than where you could potentially be in the future. Okay? So guys, let me know if you've got any questions. Okay, I know it's been a bit of a different one today, but please let me know if you've got any questions. Okay, again, it could be anything to do with health, wellness, weight loss, exercise, anything like that, nutritional wise, anything like that. Please let me know in the comments. Also, let me know if you are watching this on replay. Also, if you're watching live, please let me know as well. Okay, just come and say hi. And that's it. So, half term is always tricky as well for people. Routines are up in the air. It really is. Routines. And this is the thing. We get into a routine when the kids are at school. You're going off to work. This is your routine. You wake up, you get it done, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's good. And then it throws it for a couple of weeks. But as long as you keep the basics there, then you're still going to be able to progress. It's not about making massive changes. It's not. Because massive changes just mean that it's going to be really hard for you to sustain. Like I just said, a 1 degree difference in direction for that plane taking off in LA lands in a completely different location. So, what is it that you need to do? Are you happy with staying the same and potentially dealing with the consequences later? Or does something need to change for you to then move forwards? Because at the end of the day, nothing is changing anything work-wise. That isn't getting easier, is it? That isn't going to get easier. You're not going to have this window of opportunity. You're going to have to make it work, whatever. Cool. So guys, thank you for joining me today. Okay. I know it's a little bit of a short notice one today, but thank I hope that's helped, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon.